Feminism is a social, political, cultural movement that advocates for equal rights between genders, specifically women's rights. At least this is what traditional feminism has sought over the years. For example, participating in sports competitions, opening a bank account, voting for a president, etc. However, modern feminism, in my opinion, extends a little beyond this limit in such a way that sometimes it ends up affecting our perception of reality. It is affecting women, men, even our roles in both society and home. I'll tell you what I want as a woman at the end of this video. I'd like to start with this video of a guy who believes there is a real problem to be addressed by feminists. And he gets educated on what is really happening with those statistics we're looking at.
Looked at some data while you were speaking about the gender pay gap in the UK and the US. So apparently it's 17% in the UK and 19% in the US.
No, it's not.
And it's WEF data. So
Yeah.
just look at that.
doesn't exist.
So maybe
gender
World
pay gap.
Economic from in 2015
Right.
in
So,
percentage.
happy to talk about this at length.
yeah, this is
so
like,
my question is basically, what do you think are the causes of this?
It doesn't exist.
Well,
Do
no,
you-
there is a cause for it. I'll tell you what it is.
And do you think there should be public measures to tackle it? And yeah, the causes and the public
Fair
reaction.
question.
So
I get it all the time because obviously I'm like the anti-feminist. So people are always like, how can you deny the gender, the wage gap? Okay. So when I went to university, all of the girls that I was friends with were majoring in fashion and textiles and merchandising. And they all went off to intern at Vogue. And pick out Prada bags that maybe Kate Moss would wear on the cover of something. The average pay for that, if you want to be in fashion when you get out of school, is $20,000. Men were majoring in business and engineering and things that when you get out of school, you get paid more. If our interests, if we're going to go in and we're not going to be taking serious majors, and we're shocked when we find out the world doesn't need more people to pick out Prada bags for Kate Moss's shoot. I mean, that's not a gender wage gap. That's an interest gap, right? And that's what's happening. Also, women, we have different interests. Women aspire to get married, aspire to have children. They leave the workforce earlier. Every single one of my girlfriends, what I'm saying is that a person that is a brain surgeon should not get paid the same amount as a person that wants to pick out Prada bags for the rest of her life. I mean, this is what's going on in America. When you look at the wage gap, they're not telling you what the jobs actually are and what women are going into in terms of their majors in university.
I guess that answer is the equal pay gender wage gap. It is also a concern of feminists, ensuring equal pay for equal work. And no matter men or women, pay should be done fairly, not equally. Workplace rights. They want to address discrimination, sexual harassment, and underrepresentation in leadership roles. Most of the managers I've known are women. I really do not see a woman not being able to earn these positions today. And the sexual harassment comes both ways. Reproductive rights, ensuring access to contraception, abortion, and comprehensive healthcare. I believe we actually have an advantage here. We get to decide if we want to keep the babies or not, regardless of the father's decision. Combating gender-based violence, advocating against domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking. That is great, but men also suffer domestic violence. They're just not as open about it. Also, they do not have places exclusively for them like we do to treat their mental health, like domestic violence centers for women. Body autonomy and image, challenging unrealistic beauty standards and promoting body positivity. Representation in media also, advocating for diverse and realistic portrayals of women in media and entertainment. So men are not the ones who impose all of these plastic surgery standards, all of these beauty standards, these makeup standards. It's like women are competing between themselves. I see women encouraging these things on social media all the time. Sexuality freedom, the monetization of sexualization. You shouldn't have kids. DINK, dual income, no kids. Freedom of sexuality just makes it easier for men to get access to us. And it makes us promiscuous and miserable. Men's involvement, encouraging men to challenge toxic masculinity and support gender equality. I don't think men should do this, because men understand that biologically they are physically stronger than we are. they have testosterone, which is a hormone that allows them to wake up every single morning and be like,
let's do it! Rock that world! Rock that world!
they do not want to compete against us in sports. They know that wouldn't be fair. I do see women in a position of power. I do not see a single thing we cannot do. All I see is that we are being told that we have to behave like a man. I see women with more advantages who are still miserable. And talking about toxic masculinity, this actually sounds to me like toxic femininity. Feminists want to convince us that men are trash. I believe in couple roles. I believe men and women complement each other. I think there are expectations in both sides. I grew up in a family where my father is the head of the family. And I feel like feminist ideas makes this difficult or impossible. And that is because feminism tells us women things like, oh, we don't need a man. I don't need your help. Don't help me. I can do it all on my own. I'm an independent woman. It makes men less masculine and it makes them weak. They want to promote not having children, as if this is not a choice many women already regret when they get older. I understand there are women who do not want to have kids, but I'd rather see a world where 90% of women want to have kids rather than 90% of women who do not want to have kids. Think about it. How would that look like? If you're enjoying this video, please subscribe and don't forget to activate the bell so you can get notified when I upload one of my videos. I actually found myself saying things like, I don't need you to open the door for me. I'm an independent woman. I can do it all on my own. I don't need your help. Thank you. Like, what? Something that doesn't even go with my values. I do want a man who opens the door for me. And then I was complaining because he wouldn't do it. They might be afraid of us. Should I do it? Should I not? Will she get mad? Will she think I do not think she can do it on her own? Will this offend her? Like, what? I believe men should be the head of the family. They should lead, provide, and protect. And when it comes to the decision making, it should be discussed between the both of us and try to get to an agreement. Normal boundaries of a relationship. There's actually a scene of Avatar, The Way of Water, that completely describes what I'm saying right now, where the man is the leader, right? But still he doesn't make a decision until he gets to an agreement with his women. He takes her into account. Otherwise, we'll be talking about selfish men, the toxic masculinity, I guess I'm talking about. That's what I believe is a toxic masculinity, right? But when a man really and truly cares about his women, he will do anything for her. He will respect her. So when I talk about this type of men, just know that I'm talking about a men who have values, men who are worth it, a men you can actually trust. Thing that gets only harder to find in a society that makes men less masculine and women more masculine. And also, we can't be thinking that all men are trash and no man is a good man. There's plenty of valuable men out there, good guys who are willing to have a serious relationship. Now, we also need to pay attention to the places that we're looking for these guys. You might not find the best guys at a bar at night or at a club. Just saying. The ideal thing to do will be to pick the right man who aligns with the values that we're looking for and can assume his role as a protector and as a head of a family. I think we failed to do this so many times. We both need to do better, men and women, not only to attract the right person, but for yourself. And that is why you see all of these influencers and YouTubers telling you to do better, become the person that you want. And then you're going to find exactly what it is that you've been looking for. Because both of you need to be in a good place so you can come together and do the best of it. You need to first pick a good person and then you start building. But none of these things would make sense if we are talking about men who have addiction, doesn't take care of himself, doesn't go to the gym, isn't aware of his purpose in life. With that type of man, this is not going to work out. But if it's someone who wants your best interest at heart, a valuable man, this is actually what every single woman wants. You can tell me that you don't want that. I know that there's a lot of women out there who say, I do not want to have kids, I want to be single, and a good amount actually wouldn't be a good wife or mother, so that's okay. But A good part of them simply do not want to be wives or mothers because these men do not check the box to actually be able to bring a human being to this world. And maybe if they didn't think that way, it wouldn't be so hard. They will do it because even though there's craziness outside, when you have someone next to you who looks like, oh no, I'm not gonna mess, when you have the possibilities, when you have someone who's gonna speak out for your children, when you have someone next to you who looks like, oh no, I'm not gonna mess with this guy's kids, you don't feel as terrified of doing it anymore. Because you know this guy is going to protect you. You know if something happens to you or that baby, he is going to turn into a shield. And that is wonderful. That's what I want. Bring back masculine men.